Okay, we've talked about how bypass filters can extend engine oil life. So now let's talk about how they can reduce engine wear and extend engine life. It should be pretty obvious how contaminants in your oil, or small particles, can cause wear on metal engine components. Solid particles in a liquid medium is the basic principle behind metal polish and toothpaste. They both remove a minute amount of material while they're shining things up. But let's get a little more scientifical. Engine wear is caused by abrasion, adhesion, erosion, corrosion, and fatigue. Bypass filtration addresses the abrasion part. Abrasion is damage caused to your bearing surfaces by contaminants that get between those bearing surfaces in the oil film. When you get small particles in that oil film between those bearing surfaces, it causes damage. But you already knew that. So let's talk oil film thickness numbers, because the thickness of that film indicates the largest size particle that can pass through that space without causing any damage or wear. That's a cute little wrist pin on that diesel piston, isn't it? Probably the worst rocker arm illustration I've ever seen. So let's talk numbers. For a journal bearing, rod bearing, 0.5 to 20 micron. Main bearing, 0.8 to 50 micron. And turbo journal bearing, 0.5 to 20 micron. Piston ring to cylinder wall, 3 to 7 micron. And valve train components, 0 to 1 micron. Camshaft to lifter, couldn't find that one. For reference, a human hair is about 70 micron. A red blood cell is about 25 micron. And a white blood cell is, let me look that up, 12 micron. And in case you're wondering, 0 to 1 micron is the same size as a bacteria. Pretty thin layer on the valve train. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, I know there's 3/1000ths of oil clearance on a rod or a main bearing. I've built hundreds of engines, and that don't look like 3/1000ths, and you're right. 3/1000ths is about 76 micron. And I just told you that that oil film thickness could be anywhere from 0.5 micron to 2 micron. There's a reason I've got this drawn off center. It's not because I'm an awful artist, even though I'm an awful artist. That shaft or journal does not sit in the center of that bearing. When there's no rotation in the engine, that shaft or that journal will sit right on the bottom of that bearing housing, meaning 75 microns here and 0 there. Based on the speed that this is spinning, the forces applied to it, and the viscosity of the oil will determine where this shaft or this journal rides within the bearing. That's how it works. It should be starting to make sense how bypass filtration can reduce engine wear. The contaminants need to be smaller than these film thicknesses so they can pass between the bearing surfaces without causing any damage. And a 20 micron full flow filter won't accomplish that for any of these locations. A bypass filter can remove the majority of contaminants that are large enough to cause damage. That reduces engine wear. I've linked to a couple of really good SAE technical papers down in the description, and they do a really good job of demonstrating the correlation between filter efficiency and engine wear. So go ahead and click on those if you want to get really down into the weeds.